Joining us right now with the latest in the government funding fight is Republican Senator MarkWayne Mullin. And Senator, thank you very much for being with us today. I think we're trying to figure out what's happening in Washington. Hopefully you have a better idea than we do from here. There's some market turmoil this morning. Not all of this because of what's happening in Washington. A lot of it's the Federal Reserve and what we had seen. But the threat of a budget a government shutdown really is roiling people. And what can you tell us about what you know is happening at this point?
Well, Becky, trying to figure out where Congress is going all the time is difficult. One thing you can guarantee is we will always wait till the last minute to get anything done. I think we're probably going to avoid a government shutdown, mainly because we're pushed up against Christmas here. There's a chance today a clean CR, a short-term clean CR. It may be for 2-3 weeks. That'll get pushed out from one of the chambers. That's probably the closest path forward. That was something that was discussed, late last night, even some discussions this morning. I'm not going to say that's going to happen, but that's really the option that's on the table. Other than that, there's a couple other options. There's an option that was proposed that I was working on weeks ago with President Trump and with some Senate Democrat colleagues, taking the 10 appropriation bills that are left now that, we're not Homeland hasn't been reported out of committee. NDA has been passed. We got the other 10 appropriation bills that was passed out of committee by unanimous support and has been reported to the floor since July, and Schumer has literally refused to move them. We could take all that language that has all the riders, all the extensions, and add disaster on top of it. The language is already written. It was bipartisan. Put it on the floor, add debt limit, 2-year extension on it, and pass it. And that would clean the deck for the outgoing Biden administration and set up Trump to be able to just work on the FY26 when he gets in office. I think that's a great plan, but Schumer scrapped that last week and said no deal. Yeah, it's just so confusing what has happened. We thought that you all had a bipartisan deal that was going to get worked out. It turned out that Elon Musk didn't want that to happen because of the issues they're trying to do with government efficiency and really stopping spending. And then there were 38 Republicans in the House who voted against what President Trump had supported yesterday. I think we're all just trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. And I understand that you were talking with President-elect Trump last week about a plan, but that plan doesn't sound like it would now pass muster because the Democrats, you're going to have trouble getting support from Democrats at this point, too. And I don't know if the Republicans in the House, even if can find a way that they'll have something that all Republicans would vote for. Well, Becky, I disagree that Trump disengaged last week. He's been engaged literally since he won the election. I didn't say he disengaged. I didn't say he disengaged. He may have been negotiating with you on this. But the plan that he supported yesterday did not get passed by his own party. I agree with that. But President Trump had negotiated with the White House, had been negotiating with us. I'd been negotiating with my colleagues on the Senate side. We had a deal worked out, and it was something that was agreeable. Schumer's the one that backed out to begin with it. So to say that Elon weighed in on it just surprised everybody. That's not accurate. Everybody was upset. Okay, so you have a different plan that was working its way through the Senate versus the one that was working its way through the House. Okay, it had worked its way, and then some changes had to be made because Schumer pulled away from it. The deal that Speaker Johnson was trying to work out was a very difficult deal because our number one goal is to raise the debt limit now. How about we do something inventive? How about Congress be proactive rather than reactive? We know this fight on this debt limit is going to take place. What can happen if we wait, and you know this will happen. You'll see it on your show. Come March, if we haven't really had negotiations about raising the debt limit and they start doing the special levers that they pull to keep the government open, what's going to happen is the stock market is going to get volatile again. You could see our currency start talking about taking a devaluing, and then you're going to start seeing a possibility of us defaulting, and that would be horrible. That's not what we want to do. It was Chip Roy, who's a Republican in the House, and others, 37 others, who voted against that raising the debt limit. Well, we could go back, Becky, to the original deal we had. But the reason why it was pulled is because Schumer wants to use that as and no, I'm not trying to be ugly here, but basically as a weapon to hold to the president's head next year to negotiate, because that's his negotiating tool.
It's been a weapon that either party has used when it's not in the White House.
But we don't have to do that right now.
It's not a huge thing that I'm a fan of, and never have been, because it's a silly way of saying we're not going to pay the bills that we've already agreed to the spending on.
I don't disagree with that, Becky, at all, but it shouldn't be used to hold the economy hostage, and that is what Schumer is trying to do, is hold the economy hostage. Why wouldn't we just agree with this? It's what's best. Not to mention President Trump. The reason why he wants this so bad is because President Trump ran on the fact that he wants to get the economy started again. We're in this situation, once again, is because the Biden administration spent too much. They had a lagging economy, and the GDP wasn't able to keep up their spending. So the issue we're in is it's because the bad policies that the Biden administration put us here. So now that they got us here, how about we negotiate out and get this thing behind us, and we can actually start and get this economy going back again? Getting the debt limit cleared would be the perfect opportunity to do it. And I don't understand, other than the fact that Schumer wants to hold this as a negotiating tool or as a weapon to the president's head in his next administration. And that's not good. That's not good for our economy. That's not good for American people. That's putting party before politics.